All right, guys, here's your review for quiz 6. We have 3 questions here. Question 1, a toy manufacturer needs a piece of plastic in the shape of a right triangle. So we drew a right triangle over here in the corner. This little box means this angle is 90 degrees. Across from that 90-degree angle is our hypotenuse, which letter C represents the hypotenuse. A and B are the legs. Now we're also told that the longer leg is 5 more than the shorter leg. The hypotenuse is 10 more than the shorter leg. And we want to know what is the length of each side of that triangle. So we went ahead and wrote the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then we wrote expressions to represent each of these statements in the question. Since we do not know the length of the short leg, we use letter X to represent the short leg. Our long leg, we were told, is 5 units longer, 5 centimeters longer. So we wrote that expression as X plus 5. The hypotenuse is 10 centimeters longer. So we wrote that expression as X plus 10. Now, when we substitute these values for the short leg, the long leg, and the hypotenuse into Pythagorean theorem, we get x squared, and then x plus 5 squared. We expand this expression, x plus 5 times x plus 5. You will have to distribute x times x, get x squared. X and 5, we get 5x plus another 5x. That gives us 10x. And then 5 times 5 is 25 equals. We expand the x plus 10. So x plus 10 times x plus 10. We got to distribute as well. X times x gives us x squared. And then we'll have 10x and 10x for the inner terms. And that'll give us 20x. And then 10 times 10 gives us 100. From there, we want to bring all of our terms to the left side. So we subtracted x squared. We subtracted 20x from both sides, and we subtracted 100. Now, when we do that, on the right side, all of those terms are going to cancel out. So the 100s cancel, the 20x and the x squared, leaving 0 on that left side. On the right side, our x squareds, one of those x squared pairs cancel, leaving x squared. We carry it down. And then 10x minus 20x gives us negative 10x. 25 minus 100 gives us negative 75. This trinomial, we factor finding two numbers that multiply together to give us negative 75. But when we add them, we get negative 10, and that's 15 and 5. Minus 15 and positive 5 we use to factor. And then we set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve the equation. So x minus 15 equals 0, or x plus 5 equals 0. And we'll get x equals 15 or x equals negative 5. However, we can omit that solution of negative 5 because we know the length has to be a positive number. It can't be a negative value. So our value for that short leg, remember x represents the short leg, is 15. So we write that here. The long leg is 5 centimeters longer, so we add 5 to get 20, and then the hypotenuse is 10 centimeters longer, so we add 10 to get 35 is what this should be. So 15 plus 10, that should be 35. All right, the next question we want to solve will have n squared plus 3n minus 18. And we need to find two numbers with a product of negative 18, but a sum of positive 3. And we use negative 6 and positive 3. We take each of these factors and set them equal to 0 and solve. So n minus 3 equals 0, or excuse me, n minus 6 equals 0, or n plus 3 equals 0. We add 6 to get n equals 6, or we subtract 3 to get n equals negative 3. So n equals 6 or negative 3. For the next problem, if we were to attempt to factor, we'll see that we can't factor this expression. We can't find two numbers with a product of 3 and a sum of 7. So therefore, we use the quadratic formula, which you see right here on the right. And remember your quadratic formula. is determined by these A, B, and C values. So our A is equal to 3, our B is equal to 7, and our C is equal to 1. So when we substitute these values into our quadratic formula, we get -7 plus or minus 7 squared minus 4 times 3. Our A value is 3 and C value is 1. So 3 times 1. This becomes 49 minus 12. And when we subtract 49 minus 12, we'll get 37. So we're left with -7 plus or minus the square root of 37 divided by 2. And then we divide those into get our two possible solutions. One where we add 7 plus that square root 37, or where we subtract 7 minus that square root 37 over 2. But these are our two possible solutions. There's your review for quiz 6.